Hi everyone, good morning. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Samantha and I am the Google Business Group GBG Georgetown Chapter Lead. And today we have two wonderful panelists with us, Aqib from Mindvalley and also Ionut from Trapo. Let's keep the ball rolling, shall we, by doing some self-introduction. Maybe Ionut, you want to go first and then followed by Aqib.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Ionut Danifeld. I'm the CMO of Trapo Asia. For the ones that you don't know, we are the fastest growing car accessories company in Southeast Asia. We have presence in Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, and Thailand. We've been growing the company for 5x in the last 2 years. And a little bit about me, I have around 12 years of experience in digital marketing. I've been working international level for about the entire years of experience. I'm originally from Romania. And the fun fact about me, I've been living in Southeast Asia for about 5 years now, out of which 4 in Bali, and I'm passionate about surfing.
All right, let's move on with Aqib. You're making me thirsty, by the way, though.
And it's almond milk with some banana milkshakes. I'm really excited.
Ooh.
With some ice cubes. All right. Hello, everyone. I am Aqib Malik. I'm the head of content marketing at Mindvalley. And whoever doesn't know, content marketing is essentially just social media with a little bit of fanciness. And I am from Pakistan originally. I am based in Malaysia at the moment with Mindvalley at the headquarters. And content marketing, what that means is essentially my job is to make sure that we as a social media team implement the right strategies on our social media to reach to as many people as possible and then nurture them into becoming our customers eventually. And to whoever is missing out on breakfast, please get yourself some breakfast, guys.
Cool. All right. Diving into our topic for today, which is strategies to win new customers in e-commerce. I'm sure both of you coming from marketing background, you have, plenty of case studies or scenarios that you would like to share with me and as well as our audience. Just right before I let both of you attend to that, let me also do a quick shout out to our audience who is watching us right now. Feel free to populate at the chat room and submit your burning question to both of our gentlemen here using the Q&A button right at the bottom. All right, let's get started. Maybe you wanna go first by sharing some case studies or interesting, experience on how Trapo actually acquire new customers.
Yeah. So I think that I need to start with the philosophy that we're having in Trapo when we are talking about digital marketing and marketing acquisition. We are applying a philosophy which is called 360-degree marketing. And I know that may sound a little bit of a buzzword, but basically what does it mean is that in the entire strategy of marketing, the customer is in the center. So we are creating funnels for all sorts of, let's say, channels, right? So for example, at the moment that you're visiting the website, we already capture your data and we are advertising through the social media channels like Facebook and ads. And I remember the conversation that we had, Samantha,
yes,
that you started to receive the ads, right? So the most important aspect of the entire 360-degree marketing solution is that we are not putting all of the eggs in one basket, right? We are doing also email marketing, loyalty scheme. We are doing also incentivizing and doing a lot of remarketing, because that's something that, especially for us, that we are in the e-commerce business, is really important to understand the customer journey. And something that has been working really successful is that all the time we are doing A/B testing and we are finding new channels that can actually incentivize the customers and bring them back into the funnel. So we are doing a lot of influence marketing, we are doing a lot of affiliation, and A/B testing is such an important aspect of the entire business. One important notice, and I think that I'm seeing many companies failing, is that they don't understand the buyer persona. So what I mean by the buyer persona, if let's say that you're walking into a conference room or you're having a shop, right? Who is that ideal customer that you want to basically to sell your product or your services? So there is a really cool tool. It's called HubSpot Buyer Persona. You need to think outside of the box to the moment that you're basically generating that buyer persona. Go beyond the age, the gender, see what interests they have, see what problems they have, how can you solve those problems, right? And something that we basically really understand is that at the moment that you're offering the incentive down the road and the sales funnel, your conversion rate is going to grow. So that's something that we've been doing really well, especially in the automotive business, which is such a traditional business, right? The level of complexity that we are bringing, something that it was working really well in the past 2 years. And that is why we have also all the growth.
Yeah, I remember I had a search on Trapo, and then the ads keep following me in Facebook, in Instagram, right? That is remarketing, I believe, one of the efforts. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, now we move on to Mindvalley, Aqib. Any strategies that you and your team are using, to acquire new customers?
Yeah. All right. I just want to get a quick pulse check from the people in the audience as well, that how many of you guys actually know about Mindvalley? Because there might be a possibility that none of you guys know about Mindvalley. And if you don't, okay, that's great, because starting from now, you will get a lot of ads from us. That's gonna happen for sure. Okay, Mindvalley is basically, it raises the consciousness of humanity by providing different quests, which are programs essentially by the top authors of the world. So to answer your question, I want to talk about something which is like one of the most basic things, but also one of the most essential things at the end of the game. And it's a really fun topic. So one of the biggest things that people miss out on when figuring out how to get customers using social media, I'm going to talk about the organic way of doing that. So using social media is not finding out what their funnel is. So funnel is just a little process which you like, where do people go from A to B to C to D? How do you get people in the first place, and how do you get them to becoming their customers? Funnel can be extremely simple. It can be how many people so for social media people, if you have a brand, if you have a brand on social media, it can be how many people you reach who turn into your followers versus how many of those followers actually go and click on your website link. From that website, how many people actually click on the product and they buy it. So however, if you are a team of people where you have a department for website, and if you have a department for IT, and you have a department for social media, your job as a social media team would be to make sure that you look at the metrics you can control. So for example, right now, what you can control is reach, engagement, and website clicks. That's all you can control. Think of it like a food store in a mall. So how do you get people to buy food from you in that store? Your step number one is to find the people who want to eat the food by reaching out to them. How are you going to reach out to them? Is just go around the mall, have the people who are like giving out the free samples and whatnot. So step number two is give them free samples. And in social media case, what is that? That's free value. As much free value as you can. And then the step number three comes, which is that you provide so much value, so much content, so much entertainment, that they trust you. They trust you with their hearts, and they're ready to enter your food store. And in our case, that food store is a website, the sales page or the landing page. Once they are in your store, you help them make the decision, and eventually that's the people who are going to buy your product. So a couple of examples. So for example, Mindvalley, we are super focused on how to get to as many people as possible, but we make sure that our content is extremely brand aligned. So we only reach out to the people who actually, and so we reach out to as many people as possible, yes, but we only engage the people in our content who actually resonates with it, who resonates with duality, who resonates with meditation, who resonates with raising the consciousness of humanity. Another really, because I also like don't want to be self-centered. I want to talk about some other brands as well. A really good one would be Red Table Talk. Great example. Another one, which is going to be a little controversial to talk about here, but I'll do it. Durex. Epic entertainment ever on social media. Because why? Because that's a really good example of people who have physical products online and they cannot give the free sample online, right? So what do they do? Because we have an online course, we can provide free masterclasses as free content. and whatnot. But people who are here and they don't know how to give out the physical sample, all you have to do is just provide entertainment. You provide entertainment to people, you build their trust, and you end up getting them to your website, and that's how they buy the product.
Yeah, Ransom from Aqib, right? I'm a true believer that in order to receive, first you have to give values, build your own personal
Absolutely.
branding.
Yes.
Because to me, people will buy from people. When you build that trust within you and your customer or your potential client, the sales will come. So my question to Aqib is, how do you build that trust? Like, how do you strike that balance point within, like, not to oversell, but at the same time to good enough, just right, to build that trust with your customers?
Right.
I'll come back to Ionut after this.
Okay. For us on social media, and that's all the platforms, that's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, every podcast, everything. Our goal is to provide 90% free value, as much free value as possible. And then the 10% is that, hey, if you like this, you can also come and check out our free masterclasses. And then for free masterclasses, they go and if they like it, that's like a 1 hour long trailer. And if they like it, they can go ahead and buy the product if they want to. But the whole goal is 90%, because social media, it's social media. People are there to socialize with you. Another really important key factor is, which a lot of brands, I think, really don't engage in as much as possible, no pun intended, which is the engagement. Because if a person is commenting on your
social media,
on your profile on TikTok and whatnot, whatever it might be, negative or positive, you have to respond to them in a way that they feel like they're heard. If it's a feedback which is a little negative, you respond to them and you say, we hear you, we are here for you, we hear you, let's make sure it doesn't happen again. And I also just want to quickly acknowledge Michelle as well. Thank you, Michelle, for buying the program. Yes, because Michelle said that in the comment. And yes, for sure. So I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, definitely. What about Ionut? How Trapo built, the trust within, because since it's I would say it's not but like because it's automotive industry, right? So it's hard for us to sometimes to reach out to those that who is interested in your product. So maybe you can share with us.
Yeah, so something that we are always saying in Trapo is that we are focusing actually on benefits and not features. And I remember the presentation, I don't know if you're familiar, but I think that in case that the audience is also not familiar, you should also search for when Steve Jobs was basically coming with the iPod, right? And it was saying like, do you know what that little pocket from the jeans is actually doing?
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, and it was taking out, and it was such a brilliant way. There were many iPods before, or many devices, right, that you could listen to music. And something that he was saying is that this device is basically so small that can actually fit 1,000 songs. It was not saying about the battery. It was not saying that the brightness and all of this crap that nobody actually understands and cares about. So something that we are actually doing in Trapo, and why I think that we are successful, is that we're focusing a lot on benefits, and we're constantly adapting according, unfortunately, with the pandemic. So a really bold movement that we did a year ago when it was starting the pandemic, it was we were changing completely our tagline to the most hygienic car mat, and the entire range of products that we're actually expanding in the market is going into this pandemic. And the idea behind is that at the moment that you're focusing on benefits, people, they can actually relate. People, they can they can think, okay, I want to have that product. So something that we have been doing all the time is focusing a lot on benefits and showing benefits through real case studies and testimonials and people that are actually touching and feeling the product. So that's one of the things that we are doing. Another point that we are actually convincing the people is through reviews. Think about this. At the moment that you want to book an accommodation on Airbnb or booking.com, if you have, like, let's say 5 accommodations, the one that you're definitely going probably is not the one that looks the best, but you're definitely somehow you're still booking the one that has the most reviews. Absolutely. So we are having the entire system where we are actually giving back to the community to someone that actually bought a product and we're asking for the review, because that's something that is convincing the audience or the customers. And the most important is for people to actually to see a face behind the company. So we have a really kick-ass customer support team, and response rate through all of the channels, social media or the website, is anything between 2 and 3 minutes. And why we are actually probably less sometimes, depending, for example, if it's a sales campaign. And why is that? Because people, we've seen the data and we understand that it's a really hard sell sometimes, exactly how you were saying, you know, like it's not a product that you necessarily need, because every single, for example, car is coming with a map. But how can you shift the mentality to actually, for people to actually understand that, hey, I need that, I have questions, I know that there is someone that is actually going to help me out. So I hope that I answered your question, Samantha.
Absolutely. And having said that, just now you mentioned that it depends to the review from customers. So those customers are from the category that have social media account, because we have one question from the audience here. How do you reach out to those that is not tech savvy, especially in automotive industry? For instance, like, automotive spare part industry, which is a huge, and most of the stakeholders are there. How do you approach this type of customers?
The ones that are not tech savvy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a challenging. I think that's always going to be a challenge. Something that we have been doing is kind of like, I don't know if it's probably the most ethic thing to say, but we're actually holding their hand at the moment that we are trying to get something from them. So for example, if we want a review from them and they don't know where to go and what to do, we have someone that is, for example, if you're buying from one of our stores, one of the team is saying like, hey, here is actually where you can go to leave a review. It will be really beneficial. Here is a free product, right? So there are so many steps in things that you're doing or actions that you're taking. And for us, as being inside the company, sometimes it may seem simple. And we've seen sometimes our customers, they were asking like, how do I install, for example, a phone holder? And we were a little bit mind blown, but the reality is that you really need to pass the MAMA's test. And the MAMA's test is the one that you give any product or app or website or anything that you're doing, you're giving to your parents that are not necessarily tech savvy.
Yes.
If they can go to A to B or to A to Z, then that's kind of like pass the MAMA's test. So we are actually holding their hand, and it's a team effort to get that, like that, for example, that review. Stay with them, show them step by step what they need to do, be patient, and collaborate with, for example, in-ground people, the ones that we're actually talking with, the people that are not tech savvy.
That is very good initiative, I would say. What about Mindvalley? Aqib, you want to add something to that?
Yeah, so definitely holding the hand for sure. And at the same time, something that we do on all of our channels is, for example, if it's Instagram, and if it's a carousel of a couple of photos, and for a non-tech savvy person, they may not even know like how to swipe right and actually like read it. Because yes, I mean, sometimes you don't know how to do that, And I mean, my dad doesn't know how to do that. So what we do is we literally put like instructions on every single post saying that click here to do this, click here to save, click here to share, click here to comment, like every single. And for example, in our videos, what we have started to do that from the past 1 year now, every single video you will see literal instructions at the top and bottom saying like, oh, click here to share, and click here to go to the website. Because at the end of the day, our CTA is super important. The website click is super important. So we literally guide them by holding their hands that this is how you go from A to B. And yeah, that's what we do on our social media channels.
Yeah, one of our audience actually asked that for the live sales, like for example, if you want to sell your services or product via Facebook, so as one of the hottest method to sell online, he wanted to ask, is that the correct or the best strategy to sell your services and product? And how long this method will continue to help with all the sales?
The question is like to sell the content, to sell the product directly through Facebook.
Yeah, through Facebook Live.
Okay, through Facebook Live. Okay, so here's the thing though, it will continue to do that because here's the thing, we were just talking about it a couple of days ago as well, that for example, my dad's generation, they just figured out how to use Facebook. They just did, and they think they're ahead of the curve. So which is very cute. So, and they are the people with money as well at the end of the day. So what you need to do is like keep on doing it, but also whenever you're doing a live, depending on what kind of business you have, give them, like I said, give them free value as much as possible. And then at the end, you can have a CTA or somewhere, let's say at the 20% mark or the 40% mark, you can have the CTA that, hey, if you like whatever I'm doing right now, you can go ahead and like click on the comment in the comment and link in the comment and go to my website or go to my page and just buy the product. But fortunately, that will continue to happen. Like using lives and features on Facebook to sell products, that's going to keep on happening.
So having a clear CTA helps, our customers to educate them which is the right way to
Clear
go, right?
CTA, yeah, clear CTA and simple CTA, because at the end of the day, if it's going to be anything complicated, people are not going to engage in it. Like I said, people on Facebook, for example, the older generation just figured out how to use it. For example, right now we're figuring out how to use TikTok or even how to use Clubhouse. Yep. If there's any complication, I'm not going to click on the link in Clubhouse to actually go and buy something. So it needs to be super simple and super clear that this is what you need to do. And if you do this, you'll get to my page to buy stuff.
Okay. Yeah, that maybe we want to hear from you.
Yeah, so I think that you need to stay relevant. Live, since the pandemic, is seeing exponential growth from a perspective of reach. So all of these channels like Facebook and Instagram and any other channel that has the possibility to do live is actually giving extra reach at the moment that you're actually doing a live. The advantage of doing a live, let's talk a little bit from the technicality perspective, is that at the moment that you're doing a live, all of your followers are going to receive a notification. For example, on Instagram, on Facebook, at the moment that you're creating an event and people are actually submitting, everyone is going to receive a notification. At the moment that you're actually starting a live, even if, for example, the customers were actually not subscribing to the event, if they're on the Facebook website, they're going to receive a pop-up saying that that page is going to create opening a live, right? So you really need to go on the train, and in general, you need to use all of the tools and all of the features that all of these social networks is actually giving, because it's actually helping you for extra reach. If that's the right channel, I would say definitely yes. If it's the only channel, I would say no, because creating like a diversity in the channels, that's really healthy. If, for example, you're in the e-commerce and you're having your website, you should also, for example, stores, if you can afford. If you cannot afford and you want to go purely online, do marketplaces, right? So you're not putting all of the eggs in one basket, let's say.
Yeah.
How can you increase that conversion rate? Is exactly what Aqib was saying, like put a call to action in the end, offer value. For example, something that we've been doing in our lives, we are giving like free prices, for example, coins on the marketplaces, or we're giving like a free product stay until the end, exactly similar to what you guys are doing in the beginning, like offer like a Shopee or Lazada voucher if you're staying in the end. Ask for comments, ask for questions, ask for the share of that specific live. So that's something that is working, and also something that you can do, for example, not necessarily on Facebook, but on Instagram, you can co-host a live session. So if, for example, if you're inviting, for example, a partner, or you're inviting another company to join, at the moment that you're inviting them on the stage, everyone from their audience is going to receive a notification saying that, let's say, Mindvalley or Trapo joined that live, and basically they're going to receive notification, and you have higher chance of increasing the awareness and reach.
Yeah, by staying relevant, it's actually helping us to reduce the bounce rate of website, right? Because one of our audience has difficulties to sell digital marketing costs to SMEs. So what do you think about this? Staying relevant to, to prevent the bounce rate?
Staying relevant and provide value. Before asking anything, show me, put the money where your mouth is, meaning like offer them a free consultation, jump into a 30 minutes call. That's something that you need to do. Develop I don't know, like a tool or a program or anything that it's basically you can give it for them for free to any potential customer to see that you're actually an expert in that industry. Because for example, you're selling a digital marketing course, and there are so many people that are faking it out there, and they're just copying any other course online. Show me what's your secret sauce. What can you do for me first before I put my card and or I'm giving you the money?
Okay. Coming back to Aqib, because one of our audience actually asked, how do you bring this service under user personal attention? Like for a niche market such as selling custom software, how do you do it?
At the end of the day, it's thinking, it's not about you, it's about them. And it's a kiddie pool. Like literally, how many people are you going to reach? Like 100,000, 1 million, 2 million, but the world has 8 billion people at the end of the day. It's a kiddie pool, you're just dipping your toes in, and it's about them, not about you. So all you have to do is literally provide for them. You can provide them maybe like a 30-day trial, or maybe you can do whatever you can. But on social media side point of view, what you can do is you can provide perhaps the behind the scenes. You can show what you guys have been doing. You can create like fun reels, and something that I want to really bank on what Ionut was saying, that use the tools provided on each social media channel. If you are on Instagram, for example, and you are posting IGTV videos in this genre of life right now, it's not going to work that well. You have to post reels now, like that's the new thing. If you are, for example, on LinkedIn, go live there. On Twitter, go live there with a couple of people. On Facebook, go live, post stories, and Facebook is also introducing their podcast feature very soon as well. So the whole point, what I'm trying to say is that you use the tools provided by the channel, and then give people as much free stuff as you can, but make it fun and entertaining, and you'll eventually get to these people.
Yeah, absolutely. So to wrap up to our session for today, because it's already 10:30, let us attend to this one last question from Gordon. What can I do to get them to sign up for a webinar? Because he understands that organizing webinars is a good form of connecting with the prospect. What can he do to get people to sign up for his webinar and to show up on his webinar?
Okay, this is a really good question. I really want to answer it. So the sauce has already been created. The wheel has already been invented. You just have to follow it or find the blueprint of it. That's it. So look at all the competitors. Look at Masterclass, look at Coursera, look at Mindvalley, and see what they're doing to promote their masterclasses. We have videos. You can perhaps create like a short little snippet of saying like, oh, you can talk about, like, for example, your webinar is about, let's say, mugs, how to create mugs at home. I'm just giving a random example. What you can do is you can provide the basic tools and the tricks and whatnot in a short video, and you can say that, hey, in this 3-minute video, I provided you that much value. Now imagine in this 30-minute, 1-hour long class that I have for you, how much value you're going to get.
So it's just nice to hook them in, right?
You hook them in with free value, and you tell them that I have even more free value, a bigger quantity of it back there in the webinar. So go sign up for that.
Do you have anything to add on that, Ionut?
Besides, I don't want to repeat what Aqib was saying, which I think that is really valuable. Basically, provide that value and that 3 minutes. I really love that, what you said, Aqib. I think that people were actually discouraged at the moment that they're opening or they're creating a webinar, and they expect already to have like 50, 100, 200, 1,000 and 1 million people joining. My only piece of advice, just continue to do it. Just continue to do it and if you're at the moment that you're building that consistency, people were going to continue to join. You can use all of the social media channels to share it and etc. etc. That's fine. You probably know how to do it, right? Taking also the advice is what Aqib was saying. My only piece of advice is just continue to be consistent and do it, and don't be discouraged if, for example, at the moment that you're doing your first webinar and you see like 5 people. The next time probably you're going to see 10 people. The first time probably you're going to see only 7. But the more that you're being consistent, your audience is actually going to kind of like form a ritual. And they know that every Wednesday that X person or that X company is basically launching a webinar. Let me share it around. And the moment that we're going to see value, at the moment that you're going to consistent, people is going to be kind of like a snowball effect. People are going to share it. They're going to talk with their friends and family, and etc. etc.
Absolutely agree. So consistency would be the key. So to wrap up our session for today, maybe Ionut, you want to share like one word for our audience to acquire new customer for their business to conclude?
The conclude, probably do your homework, and before you start anything, or even if you started something or like a product, or you're selling a product or a service, go back and refine your buyer persona, meaning your ideal customer, and go outside of the gap of 25 to 65, because that's not relevant. And do a lot of A/B testing on every single thing that you're doing out there. Because at the moment that you're going to do A/B testing, you're going to let your audience choose whatever they think that is relevant for them.
All right. So consistency and non-stop doing testing from Ionut. Okay, what about Aqib?
I had like a whole paragraph written down. At the same time, but I'm going to say this, that it's not about you, it's about them. Solve their issues, solve their problems, and you're good to go. And
all right.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much to both of our panelists today, Ionut and also Aqib. Thank you, audience who have already submitted, the Q&A to us. Over to you, Laurie.
Thanks, Samantha, and I thought you did a wonderful job as usual. I just wanted to say that, Ionut, Aqib, you guys gave us such valuable advice, and I like the fact that you talked about consistency, giving a preview of value, and I think to wrap things up, even for this webinar, so we're always trying to grow and learn from our audience, and I think what you guys wrapped up, it was just so wonderful to hear that, and I think that we also have to focus on solving our customers' problems before we can actually grow even further. So for that, we'd like to thank you so much for every single little bit of advice you guys have given. A virtual round of applause. Thanks you guys for being a part of eCommerce Fest 2021. Stay safe, have a wonderful rest of the day, and if you like, you can always stay on and watch the rest of our webinar.
Thank you guys.
Goodbye, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, bye. Thank you.
Exabytes. Grow your business online.